The next step is to prime the doors and windows. I'm going to use Vallejo Sky Gray, that's the number, to do the priming. I'm going to paint both sides of the doors, and that way I don't have to worry about which side the doorknob will go on when I'm putting the model finally together. The next step is painting and weathering the structure. There are many methods to paint and weather models, and I will demonstrate a method I use on models constructed from wood. The products I've used for many years are sold by Bend-Scale Consortium. One is Instant Age. Another is Weathered Rust. And the last is Aged Driftwood. I recently purchased the additional stains in the Bend-Scale Consortium product line and will be trying out this stain, Depot Olive Green, on this model. These stains are all 70% isopropyl alcohol based. This is a test sample of the staining technique used. On the far right we have the plain basswood sheathing. In the center we have a combination of the weathered rust and instant aging overcoated with the aged driftwood. At this point I would normally use my Vallejo paints to color the model. In this case, I'm using the Depot Olive stain. When using these stains, it is important to mix the product well before using and during use to ensure that the pigments remain suspended in the solvent. The Instant Age and Weathered Rust stains will, under most circumstances, require dilution before use. I'm going to start by adding 2 mils of 70% isopropyl in a mixing container, and then I will add 1 drop of the weathered rust. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. Let's give it a try on our porches and see how they work. Now you can always add more layers of stain to darken the surface if you desire. A little variation is also important in the overall effect. Of course, you want to stir it when you're using the diluted solution too, to keep the pigment suspended. We also want to apply this to our primed windows and doors. You want to avoid overbrushing the plastic parts, as the solvent will attack the undercoat. That's okay because it adds some additional texture to the windows, but if you keep brushing it, you will peel off the primer. All right, we'll do the dilution and application of the Instant Age at this time. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm allowing the doors and windows to dry standing in a vertical position to allow the darker stain to accumulate down on the bottom of window sills and the bottom of doors and door frames. It's the area where you would expect to see the most weathered wood. I'm brushing up a little extra black on the bottom of the walls. The Instant Age has now dried, and here's what the sides of the building look like, and the roof, and the porch deck. The next step is to go over everything with aged driftwood. The pigments in the aged driftwood stain are not as intense as they are in the weathered rust and Instant Age, so I have found that I can use the stain right out of the bottle without diluting it. I'm using a wider brush. And I'm just flooding it on. I'm being generous in the application of this stain. It is what gives the wood a nice kind of weathered silvery appearance. I'm tilting the building slightly down toward the bottom so that the stain tends to pool and run down to the bottom of the wall. That is where you would end up expecting to see the most paint wear and the most faded wood. Now I'm going to add a second heavy application of the driftwood stain on the sides. I'm going to slightly tilt it by resting it on a pencil so some of the lighter color moves more toward the bottom. And we'll let that dry, and then we'll do the next side.